to be talking about the new Avatar, The Last Airbender that just dropped. Going into this video, I want you to know that I took this thing seriously. Like when I was watching it, I took it seriously, like so seriously. I made notes, so I'm prepared. Hi, my name is Tafida, and this is my YouTube debut. Insert party stickers here. So, welcome to the new movement. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, share, and turn on your post notifications because you're about to be sick of me. I'm going to be linking down below my Instagram and my TikTok as well, which is a new account that I just started. So, don't be alarmed if you see just to follow us. Still follow, I'm going to follow you back. Thank you for being here. So, let's get into the video. So before I start, I plan on dissecting it episode by episode, talking about the casting, the crew, the storyline, and the graphics in general. Just so you know, before you proceed, if you haven't seen it and you're not a fan of spoilers, don't proceed to watch this just yet. I didn't say you should not watch it at all. I said don't watch it yet. Save it. Go see the series. Come back and watch it. But if you don't mind spoilers, you can continue to watch it because this is going to be filled with a lot of spoilers. Don't say I don't want you now before you say, the feeder has never done anything for me. You're welcome. You might not know how much I love the entirety of the Avatar realm. Like, I love it as far back as said so, and even farther. My favorite Avatar of all time has to be Kyoshi, and followed closely by Yang Chen. Maybe because they're just very violent women, and I love violence.
I don't want peace. I want problems always.
So excited when I found out that the live action was dropping. So when it dropped, I had to find time to watch it. So episode one. One of the things that actually struck me out in the that really stuck to me, excuse me, in the first episode was when they told the story from the beginning. In the animation, we just see it from a boy in the iceberg, but in the live action, because the people that are already watching this, we already know about the boy in the iceberg. But tell us, like, show us what we did not know, show us what we knew but we did not see, which is something that I think the producers did by telling us the begin what's wrong with my head by telling us the story from the beginning, from when Fire Lord Sozin actually started the war 100 years ago. As irrelevant as this one may be, I also liked how they gave more description to the tribes, like the Southern Water tribe. They gave it like the name Wolf's Cove. I also like that the Katara and Sokka's grandmother played a more prominent role, like when she gave it, like she put the scroll, the water bending scroll in Kitara's sack, because obviously it made more sense that they just boycotted the entire animation where Kitara went to steal the scroll. I like how she narrated the intro in the animation that we all know and love, because from the animation we know that Kitara was the one narrating it, but it was a story that her grandma told her. So I like that we got to hear it from grandma directly. But one thing I did not like about grandma was the fact that she told Aang that he was the last airbender instead of him finding out by himself. I felt like that was an entire emotional steal, because he experienced a lot of emotion from when he goes into the air temple and he sees that nobody is there, he sees the skulls. I feel like grandma telling him that was an emotional robbery for us. Going back to when Katara and Sokka found Aang in the iceberg, honestly that entire scene was very mid to me. And I hate that they took out the fact that Katara was the first person that Aang saw, because it held significant role. Like I think it was in like book three where he told her that there was a reason why she was the first person he saw when he opened her eyes, like in the animation. So I felt like they just that was the beginning of them just boycotting Aang's crush, because during the line of the series we don't really see the intensity of Aang's crush on Katara. I don't know what the producers were trying to do or avoid with that, but I felt it was unnecessary. So now let's talk about some of my initial thoughts on the casting in episode one. Prince Zuko. I don't care what you say. That casting was perfect. I mean, your opinion, obviously, but this is my opinion. I felt like that was the perfect casting for Zuko, because Zuko was giving, okay? Zuko was giving. Even Sokka, that a lot of people were talking against, he wasn't native, blah, 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 blah. I felt like he delivered because he was really giving Commander Sokka, and I was into it. Casting of Uncle Iroh, at the beginning it was giving me like the aesthetics was there. It made sense aesthetically, but I was a little bit indifferent to it because the Uncle Iroh that we see in the animation was a fun-loving, sweet man who had the ability to be a dragon, and we didn't even know that. But with Papa Kim, I'm not saying his actual name because I don't want to. murder channel, it's Paul. With him, he we knew he had the ability to be a dragon. He gave up dragon initially, but I think along the line it warmed up to me. And don't get me wrong, I really love the casting, but that was just what I thought. I wouldn't have it any other way, but that was just what I thought. Before I move on to my last point on episode one, I liked how the water tribe had other teenagers that were grown enough to defend their tribe when the Fire Nation came, like when Zuko came with his troop. Because in the animation they were all kids, and I always wondered like how was Sokka the only warrior here to protect this entire tribe. But I like how in the actual series they made like there were more teenagers there that were willing to fight for the tribe. I felt like that was very nice because you can't put all of that on one person. Lastly, my final thoughts on the first episode. I hated how they stole Aang's first avatar state and gave it to Katara. When Zuko captures him and he's on the ship and he's trying to escape, that is where we see the first Avatar state. I mean, obviously we saw the one in the iceberg, but that was the first one we see. Gone, gone, gone. Do you get? So I was very excited to see how they were going to, and then just talk about he just escapes and Katara gets to do her water bending, and that was how they. Nah, honestly, that was very embarrassing, and it was even more annoying because he now had his first official avatar state, like the one from the series, in the air temple. And it was made. Okay, he broke down buildings, but it was made. There was no emotion. Did you see his face? Nah, 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 nah. Mm-mm. So, episode 2. Abeg, what's Suki's problem? Who was the person that thought, oh, let's take Suki and let's turn her into this in the live action? Because what was that? But let's leave that one aside first. I liked how um the trainer, or should I say the leader of the Kyushu Warriors, was a woman. It made more sense, which can lead us to believe that she was a Kyushu warrior herself, as compared to the animation, which was a man. But I didn't like the fact that it was Suki's mom. Can't we just have a normal must you whoa? And I hated the fact that um Longpui, what's his name? I hated the fact that Sokka got to meet Suki before Yui. I think the people that wrote this or decided that they were going to do this, they already knew that they were going to mess up an entire timeline because him meeting Suki before Yui messed up the visions at the swamp. It messed up the the quips in future books where they were like, "Oh, his first girlfriend was the moon." Do you get that kind of thing? I have to give it to them for actually bringing to life the airball and statue quip that we see in the animation intro for Aang. Well, is the least, but A for effort. Let's go back to Suki. Like, why was she that way? Why was she so angry? Suki in the animation was badass. In the live action, it was as if she was trying to prove something to Sokka that she was the shit. In the animation, everybody knew. We all knew that she was the shit, but why did she have to prove it to Sokka? The animation, okay, I get the fact that Sokka talks down on her for being a girl, and that was what started like the whole that was what led to the whole series of events that happened. And in the live action, they were trying to take away the misogynistic attributes to Sokka, but there was still a way they could have gone about it. Not that rubbish that we watched. That even pissed me off the most was when she went to go and fight him. Why now? Auntie, why? Why are you trying to prove that you are who you say you are? Why? And somehow from that, Sokka came to come and get her to teach him. Eh, think it makes sense because 2 plus 2 is not 4. From there, they were fighting. They almost kissed. Let's not even talk about the fact that she didn't even make him wear the uniform because that one is pissing me off. It may not be a big deal, but it's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to me because he didn't wear it. And that was one of the funniest moments in the animation. Aside, I have to give them accolades for the authenticity of the weapons. Um, Sokka's sword that had that ball on it, the boomerang, the fans, even Zuko's swords, they looked pretty good, which brings me back to my initial point of they focus more on graphics rather than storyline. I did not like Aang's and Kiyoshi's link. I didn't like their link up. It was not giving at all. I can't even fully remember what even happened again because it was so unmemorable that I forgot almost immediately. With Zhao, Zhao has always been a lunatic, so I feel like they portrayed that well enough. But I didn't like the fact that he was the one that invaded Kyoshi Island. It was Zuko. Why did they give it to Zhao? It just feels like these people, they were just taking people's roles and giving other people, and it was pissing me off. My two last minor points of the episode before I move on to the next episode is I like the fact that in the live action Zuko seemed more scared than angry. Even though he was angry, he was also scared, and I could see that fear in him. I don't care if you say that I'm only saying this because I like Dallas Liu, but that's your business. All I know is that I like that they were able to show because it makes sense. You were banished from home, you're afraid, you don't know if you're going home, you don't even know if you're going to make it. So I absolutely liked that. And lastly, Ozai, the casting, we all know that it was a 10 over 10 because he looks like him, sounds like him, makes me want to lick my screen like him. The thing I didn't like about Ozai's character was he was appearing too many times. Like, let's just move on. Episode 3. First things first, Sebastian Amoruso Jet is hot. Eh? Blood because that casting was casted properly because okay, excuse me. Moving on from that fine man, still on the topic of casting, Azula May Ty Lee. Mm. Ty Lee and May's casting wasn't the best. I mean, Ty Lee, the actor that did Ty Lee looks like the character, but I think that like the actor that did like that acted May, did a better job depicting May than Tylee did. But the actor that acted May obviously doesn't really look like May, but she did a better job depicting May. Tylee was supposed to be super peppy and super happy and super. Do you get like she was supposed to be the life of the party, but in the series she was very bland. And the actor that did May, she even did a little better. Like she had the gloomy thing on point to some extent. And Azula, the actor that did Azula, was absolutely beautiful. Well, why was she bending yellow fire? And I know you're going to tell me, oh, in episode 8, she bends blue fire. But did you see Azula bend yellow fire once in the animation? That was her thing. But I don't know if they were trying to give her character development that, oh, yeah, so she went from yellow to blue. Azula is not the character that needs character development. She was a blue fire lightning shooting psycho, and we loved her for that. That was why we loved her. You gave her some kind of unnecessary character development when characters like Aang or Korra, see now, what's this girl's name? Katara, yeah. Where Aang or Katara or Sokka desperately needed some character development, you took that away from them and gave it to Azula that absolutely did not need it. Did we not need to know that she went from blue to yellow? The only thing that they succeeded in doing was stressing us and wasting our time because we all knew that the blue was coming. Why did you bother going the yellow route in the first place? Still on Azula, when she went like undercover to the commoners that were trying to overthrow Ozai, and then she obviously betrayed them and all of that. How dare, like, how dare these producers disrespect Ozai like that? How dare they bring commoners commoners before Ozai. Now, I felt like this entire series, this season one, book one, it it embarrassed. It wasn't even embarrassed. It disrespected Fire Lord Ozai. Another thing that I did not like as at episode 3, which is still valid now for the rest of the season, I didn't even get to see Aang bend water once. I mean, obviously when he was in the Avatar state, but that doesn't count. Like when Katara was practicing, he did not. I understand that he was scared, but in the animation, Aang started bending water. Why is he not bending water in book one? It's literally book one water. Why is he not bending any water? I really liked the blend in the episode 3 Omachi episodes because in the entire series, obviously The original animation was like 20 something episodes, but in the series it was 8, so they blended a lot of episodes. So I really like the blend that they took for this episode 3, which was Omashu. I like the fact that Sai and Teo, that's the scientist, and his son lived in Omashu. It made more sense because in the animation, I always thought like, how did they get there? How did they really survive? Where did he get all the equipment he was using to work? Like, I had a lot of questions because I was a very inquisitive child. But this series actually made more sense of their lifestyle. What I did not like, because with this series, they will do something good, but they will do 10 things wrong. What I did not like is, why did they downplay Sai's ally to the Fire Nation? He wasn't making designs, he was making weapons and floats, but they significantly downplayed it to make it seem like he was doing almost nothing. Why?
Chelsea, come on now.
Now, going back to Jets, I liked the casting for the Resistance. Pipsqueak is a Duke, long shot. The casting was really good. Conspiracy theory, is it just me that thinks that Longshot might be a descendant of one of the Fire Nation's elite archers? Because he was really good with the bow and arrow. Either he's a descendant of one of them, or he escaped from one of them. I don't know. Maybe somebody else is thinking like me, but that's just what I think. For episode 3, Aang and Zuko's fight in the market in Omashu. I have to admit, I was low-key rooting for Zuko because when he said, I don't need fire to defeat this boy, I was like, and at that fight was also the first time we got to see Uncle Arrow bend. And I'm not even going to lie, the bending was bending because I don't know what they did though. I don't know what they added in their stew, but the graphics for the bending was really good, especially for fire. Because when Uncle Arrow broke out those moves, like I could feel the heat radiating from my TV. My last thought on episode 3, I like how they teased us a little bit with the cabbage man because there were multiple times where he almost said my cabbages, but he didn't say it. And then when he said it, it was like, yay, the cabbage man. I don't know. It's tiny, but I liked it. Now, episode 4. Episode 4 pissed me off. When I say it pissed me off, Omo, it pissed me off. King Bumi's casting was bad. Like, in fact, anything that had to do with Bumi, it was bad. And I was actually really excited to see King Bumi because he is the Mad King. I was excited, like I had so much anticipation inside my body for who Bumi was going to be or what Bumi was going to bring to screen. But they just deflated my excitement. Bumi was supposed to be a psychopath. I mean, he was the Mad King. Shout out to GOT. But my point is, he was more emotional than I would have liked him to be in the live action. I get that Eng was your friend, he disappeared, you faced the war, there was no avatar, you had to do a lot to protect Omashu. I understand. But why are you pressed? I mean, I know why he's pressed, but even though episode 4 was just so poorly put together. It was almost as bad as episode 2, if not worse than episode 2. It was so poorly put together that they didn't even get to the point where Aang asked Bumi to teach him earth bending. And then Bumi told him that he was going to get a master that listened to the earth, which was a forward talk or like a vocal debut for my girl Toph because she listens to the earth. So it was relevant for that piece to happen, but they just took it out as if it means nothing. Why did they make Aang so scared to want to bend other elements? Like, you people already took out the fun, loving, playful side of Aang and you wanted him to be focused on his mission. Part of his mission was him learning the elements. People only focused on him trying to save the world with his friends, every small thing, my friends, my friends, my friends. But like the vital parts, him wanting to bend on the elements, they took it out. So were you people confused? Or were they confused? At this point, I don't know who I'm talking to. I just know that episode 4 pissed me off. I'm already allowing my feelings to show, and as a bad guy, I can't be putting my emotions out on the streets. So let me calm down. The only thing I liked about Bumi and Aang's encounter was the fact that they asked each other how they were still alive, which is a very valid question. I always wondered how Bumi survived. Like, if he was about Aang's age, he would be 112. How is he still alive? And it was always a question I had. And Bumi asking him to how is he still alive on a child. I think that was the only thing that made sense in that episode to me. Bumi scenes were poorly put together. I think something that really pissed me off as well was the fact that Bumi was the one that made the bison whistle in the live action. Eng bought in the animation, Eng bought this whistle in the market in the hopes that it works for Appa. Like that was a vital moment. Maybe because I love Avatar too much, I feel like even the tiniest of things are vital moments. But in the animation, he bought it in the market. They were in trouble one day. They couldn't reach Appa. He blew the whistle in the hope that Appa was going to find it. And there was so much suspense, and Appa heard the whistle and came to their rescue. But what the live action is trying to tell us now is that Bumi made the whistle for Aang. When I even saw that he used it in the first episode, it was annoying. When I got to the fourth episode and I saw that it was Bumi that made it, it was even more annoying. I don't know what the producers were trying to achieve with Aang and Bumi's interaction, but whatever it is that they thought they did not. If they thought they ate, they did not, because everything was just very blur. The emotions did not even feel authentic. Everything was just doing back or anyhow. Like, the only thing I kind of liked in the episode 4 was how they instilled the story of Amashu and the Lover's Cave with those singing guys, those hillbilly guys. And even at that, there was still a comma because I didn't like the fact that Eng wasn't there. Eng and Kitara had a moment in that cave, but it's as if the producers had decided to squash anything that had to do with love. I don't know if they were experiencing a breakup or they were just unhappy, but anything that had to do with love, eh, they removed it because it's as if they didn't even want anybody to find love. Kitara and like why? To be honest, I think out of all the episodes, episode 4 was the hardest to watch for me. It was the hardest to watch, and if I was ranking my worst episodes, episode 4 will be leading the charts right now. Hey guys, I'm going to be stopping the video here right now because I don't want like the videos to be too long. So watch out for part 2 where I get to talk about episode 5 to 8 because this was just 1 to 4. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, comment, and turn on your post notification bell. So that's about it. Adios.